Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Mike. Hope you're doing great and having a wonderful day. So this is take 3. I'm going to try this for the 3rd time to make this video. Today I'm doing my response to Patrick. He created a brand new tag. It's called the Where You From tag. Now, if you are from the South here in America, more like the You Ain't From Around Here tag. But no, it's called the Where You From tag. I watched his video a little bit ago today. It's got 5 questions. These are really fun. Now, he made a comment about some of these are a little personal maybe for some people. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing, that's fine. I'm going to tag a bunch of people. And if you don't feel comfortable giving where you're from or whatever, it's okay. Either don't make the video or maybe make it and gloss over some, points, that way you're not giving away too much information, I guess. I'm just gonna kind of skirt around a few things myself, but I'm still gonna do this tag. But before I do the tag, so Patrick, it makes sense now why you live in Thailand, because you said that you were from, at least born, in Iowa. I live in a very, very small town in northeast Oklahoma. Boring, but it is not more boring than Iowa. At least Sioux City, Iowa. So, and I'll just give you this little bit and then I'll jump into the tag. Twice a year for my job, I have to travel to Sioux City, Iowa. Oh, it's so boring up there. Now, I know that's just the Sioux City area, but I pass through Kansas. Boring, nothing there. I mean, hours you could drive. It's just cornfields, some cows, and that's it, But Iowa, oh my gosh, I would never live up there. There's nothing up there. So I get it. I mean, I'd probably move Thailand too, No, I'm just joking. Let's see here. So the first question is, where were you born and what was your town like? So I was born in a small town in northeast Oklahoma with one stoplight. That's it, one stoplight. Now, no, we don't have horse and buggies. Wouldn't surprise me if I seen one, but it's, so in America, most cities, I'm going to call them towns, but most cities, right? You have the city, the name of that city, and then that city sets in a larger area of the county, right? And most of the time, the city and the county have different names. You might have like this city's name sets in this county. My town, my city, the city limits and the county limits are the same name. They're both the same name, but it's a small town. The city has, so when I was born, and I had to do some Google research on this, but when I was born, the city had 3,592, 3,900 roughly in the city. And then the county was 11,486. Now, today, 2026, the city has 3,592, and then the county has about 9,400, which, it's dropped quite a bit. So, what was your town like? And only for people in America maybe would get this, but, and I know it's not just here, small town America, typical. Small town, one stoplight. We have 2 major highways that come through our town, and they pretty much intersect right in the heart of the city. And that's where the stoplight is. But it was different time, right? Different generation. We rode our bikes all over the place. At least I did. As a preteen. And you would be gone all day, especially in the summertime when you're out of school. You'd just be playing all day. No cell phones back then. There were cell phones, but they weren't real popular. No internet. Internet really didn't peak and become like a household thing until I was like 12 or 13, maybe 14, something like that. We still had chalkboards in the schools back then. I don't even know if that's still a thing. Those giant box TVs where they come wheeling it in on that big stand. So anyways, so we, rode my bike all over the town, stayed out until the street lights come on, go home. Never locked the doors to the house or the vehicle. Keys would be in the vehicle. It was a different time. Yeah, I'm sure there was crime. because there always is. But as a kid, I didn't see any of that. It was just, I don't know, it was what it was. And so that's kind of what it was like. Give you a little taste of that. Number 2 is, where do you live now and what is it like? Well, I still live in the same town, born here, raised here. Now, my wife and I have traveled pretty extensively over the years, all over the United States. I mean, we've been, well, we haven't been west, really. Colorado, I guess, is kind of up and west, but I'm talking like California, that west. So we have been north, south, and east quite a bit. Mainly north and south. Southeast, a little Alabama, Louisiana, South Carolina, that kind of area. And then north, you know, we've been all over the place, but the town's different. It's dying, I would say, compared to what it was 20 years ago. Before my time, I think it was in the 40s or 50s, 1940s or 1950s, I think. I'd have to double check. There was a lot of oil here in where I live. Oil boom, a lot of money, you know, this town was booming. And then the oil wells dried up. So what happens? The companies, they move, they jump ship, and they move somewhere else because they're following that oil, following that money, you know. The town's not dead. You know, we do have quite a bit here for being a small town. You know, we've got 2 big chain, like gas stations, Love's, Casey's. You know, we've got, I don't know, half a dozen restaurants, you know, so there's a couple car washes. So there's things here. It's not like this is a ghost town, but it's not a big town. Number 3, have you lived anywhere else? No, I have not. Now, we've moved a couple times in this town to different spots over the years, but I've always lived in this town. Number 4, who are some famous authors of works of literature from your home? Don't have any, unfortunately. I did try to look it up. There's nobody as far as literature goes. I did find some other people, though, non-literature related. I don't know these people, never heard of their names. I just found them today when I was doing my Google research. There's a few people. One was Flora Campbell. She was an actress and a star of the very first network TV soap opera that was by the name of Faraway Hill, I think is what it's called. Another person name was Ray Starr. He was a baseball player in the major leagues from 1932 to 1945, and he played for the New York Giants, the St. Louis Cardinals, Boston Braves, Cincinnati Reds, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and then the Chicago Cubs. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then a couple more. There was a few movies. There was one movie based on this town specifically, and the name of that was called Possums, 1998. I remember that. I was just a kid. I remember them coming to our town and seeing some film crews and stuff around town. You know, because a small town like this, that's big news. You know, it really is. And then there's 2 other movies. So I do live in a small town, but west and south of us, and north too, about between 20 and 30 minutes each way, there's a pretty big cities, pretty big towns. And west of us, there was 2 movies made. Killers of the Flower Moon. Part of that was filmed there in this town, and that's by that Martin Scorsese, I think is how you pronounce it. And then 2 other movies by Terrence Malick, that's the producer. One's called To the Wonder, starring Ben Affleck, and then the other one is a pretty recent one. It's called August Osage County, and that's starring Meryl Streep and Julia Roberts. So that's kind of the coolest, you know, things we have around here. But that movie Possums, look it up, you'll know where I live. But it was, you know, B movie. It was about a small town football coach trying to bring this losing streak of a football team together. And we haven't, so high school football is pretty big. Most small towns it is, especially around here. But last time that we won state championship, I think it was like 1971, I want to say, We did go to state in 1999. I remember that because I was just a kid, and my older brother at the time was in the high school band. So we did go to that. We lost the game, but anyways, that's just little facts there. Let's see, and then the last question, number 5, is what's the book culture like where you live? Libraries, bookstores, etc. We do have a local library here, public library, and it's really nice, pretty big, lot of variety. Really nice building, really big building. They do have a section in there, and I've shown this on other videos, where you can buy books that they have old books where they haven't checked out in, you know, I don't know, a year or 2 years. They kind of rotate those out of their cycle, you know, sell those. As far as bookstores go, there is no bookstores in this town. The closest used bookstore to me is about an hour away. And then there's a few stores that's about 25 minutes away, like an Ollie's, Five Below, you know, that they sell books. They're not used, but they sell books. And then there's a few like smaller independent bookstores. They do kind of sell some used, but it's mostly new stuff. That's about half hour away, 30 minutes away or so. But I don't know. So that's my where you from tag. This was fun. I'm glad you made this, Patrick. And like I said, I'm going to tag a bunch of people in here. If you don't feel comfortable doing the tag, it's okay. Don't do it. Just make fun of the rest of us as you watch our videos. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.